I invite you to turn to one another and welcome each other into your presence and their worth and dignity. I'm Bob Renjilian, minister here at the Unitarian Universalist of Transylvania County. I welcome you here. Our congregation, our mission is to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and environmental justice. And we're glad you're with us, whether you're here for the first time or for the umpteenth time. We're glad that you're here with us this morning, coming in out of the cold. I have a billion announcements to make, of which I will choose a dozen. We'll start with the slide for the Jewish lecture that's starting today. This afternoon, we are a co-sponsor, Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County, are co-sponsor for this explorations in Jewish life and history with the other congregations, including the Brevard Jewish community. And so Professor Joseph Lamb, Associate Professor of Religious Studies at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, is our speaker. It will be today, 3:30 p.m., over at the First United Methodist Church downtown. So we hope that many of you will be there to show your faces. I know that there are conflicting things. There are people who sit over here who are like partying or something instead. Yeah, I understand, but it's a good thing. And then afterwards, you get a little break, and then at 5:30, right back here, we have the somber holiday service. And for those of you who are new to this idea, sometimes when we enter into the holiday season, it's not all jingle bells. It's not all Santa Claus is coming to town. It's not all the upbeat pieces. It's also recognizing there are parts of this holiday for many of us who have experienced grief over the years to notice an empty chair at our table in our gatherings and all of that. And so this somber service, we don't ask anything of you. If you come to this service, you hear the readings, you have moments of meditation and silence, you hear the music that John's offering and a couple of recorded pieces that we have, just absorbing the holiday in that way. So we invite you to that. There are other services coming up here at UUTC. We'll have the solstice service on Sunday, December 21st in the evening. We'll have a little bit about solstice in the morning service, but the one that includes the more ritual side of things and pagan-centered side of things will be in the evening. So we invite you to that. We have the evening Christmas Eve services, one at 4:30, which is our family service where we invite the people who show up. I know they're smaller costumes, so we typically think that you're about this tall if you're going to be part of the pageant, but we haven't prevented anybody this tall. I'm thinking of one member in particular came up with kids that was that tall. And it's no rehearsal. We just, as we're reading through the story of the manger scene and everything else, the shepherds come forward and the angels come forward. And we're just glad to have everybody participate and wear a crown or a shepherd's outfit or whatever else that we have out in the lobby. And then at the 6:30 service, we'll have a choir, and we'll have the candlelight Christmas Eve at the very end singing Silent Night. So we invite you to either or both of those. One thing that you may have already discovered if you're part of some of the support groups or meditation groups that meet over in the Yellow House, the Chalice House, we did get the water line repaired. So you don't have to walk over here to use the bathroom anymore, which is really good. And in fact, the repair was found very early in the water main line. so we didn't have to dig up the entire stretch from the street to the house to get it repaired. That was nice. I realize the Dinner for Two Anywhere slides have been up here, but we need a boost to that. We need all of you to start selling those tickets. Yeah, you could buy them too. They make great gifts, stocking stuffers for your mail carrier, for the people who fix up your hair, the person who does your state inspection of your car, whatever it may be. There are many ways in which you can give away the $20 tickets, or have them scan. If you check out an envelope, you can have them just scan that QR code that's showing on the screen here, and they can go online and buy as many tickets as they want. We don't often mention this, but technically we have to offer a free ticket if we're running this. So we had somebody last year who would regularly sign up for a free ticket as well. But this is a major fundraiser, and if we don't sell them, we don't meet our budget. And then I have to invent some other fundraiser. And I don't want to do that. So please, get as many sold as you can. Also, Brevard Jewish Community, I want to mention next Sunday, December 14th, begins with a potluck at 5:30 in the Fellowship Hall at Sacred Heart Catholic Church, where they meet, and a Clemser concert afterwards that starts at 6:30. There's a social hall. There's this sign up on the screen right now, but in the social hall, there's a poster. There's an RSVP. It was in the update as well, but Hanukkah starts next Sunday. So we don't have any candles in our menorah yet, but it's here to remind us. Finally, as we are Unitarian Universalists respectful of the wisdom of the world's religions, tomorrow is Bodhi Day, Buddha's enlightenment. And it's said that on December 8th that Prince Siddhartha Gautama became enlightened while sitting in meditation beneath a pipala tree, and made a resolution not to move from that spot until enlightenment came to him. And so, since enlightenment is called Bodhi in Sanskrit, December 8th is called Bodhi Day, and the pipala tree is now often referred to as the Bodhi tree. It's a fig tree. And so we recognize that. As we start our service with our prelude, it will be on our Advent theme, the anticipation in this season of the waiting for the coming of the birth. And our anticipation last week started with lighting the candle of hope. And this week, peace. Let's let our hearts and minds relax into the moment of worship as John plays our prelude.
my document feels a need to restore itself right now is beyond me. You probably have it, don't you?
I do have it.
I'll take yours.
With the introduction and
Oh,
everything.
good. Thank you. Good morning. It is great to see everyone. My name is Jackie Fricks, and I'm your worship associate this morning. And I'll be reading the channel sliding. And it is in unison, and it is by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. And she is passionate about building religious communities that are grounded in context with her local community. And she has a radical vision for a more just and compassionate world. She's born and raised in the UU Church and in Racine, Wisconsin, and she lives in Appleton, Wisconsin with her wife, Catherine, their two kiddos, Ada and Benjamin, and wait a minute, she has a giant cat. Forgot about that. And she serves as co-minister of the Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. So let's read together. In the season of long, cold nights, hope isn't waiting for us to find it. Hope isn't sitting patiently on the sidelines. Hope seeks out the forgotten places, the longest night, the damaged temple, the overcrowded stable, and every corner where tomorrow seems impossible. Hope bursts in uninvited for carefully crafted plans. Hope shows up as a lamp that keeps burning, as an improbable baby. Hope shows up as the sun, returning without ever having left. Hope shows up as tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow, until against all odds, we feel the future breaking on the horizon. When we are weary from battle, when empire seems inevitable, and when darkness is growing around us, hope comes to claim us, and we have the chance to say yes.
This is the time in a service when we bring prayerfully into the room those things that we're carrying of our joys and of our sorrows. We have a few notes that have been submitted this morning for reading, and I had one that was sent to me as well. We have two people, in fact, who have sent this one written in and one that Susan Zelli sent in electronically. That we light a candle for Liben Ewell, who had a successful unplanned appendectomy this last week and is resting at home. And Nancy lights a candle of joy for the visit of her sister Carol from New Hampshire. And this candle is a thank you. Yesterday's holiday parade brought our community together in many ways, with thanks to Reverend Bob, the Rainbow Alliance, the NAACP, and all the allies marching together, and UUTC was well represented. And from Susan Mosley, a candle of joy for the Loving Hearts team. They spread so much compassion and love. And let's light a candle for those things not yet shared, held in the hearts of those here, for all those in our hearts who are facing medical issues, who are recovering well from medical procedures, for those who are finding it a dark season, for those who are finding the joy and connection with family. For all these and others, O Spirit of love and life, we lift up our hearts in prayer. And this time, with the light and the warmth of each of these candles, prayerfully remembering that this community is woven together in the ways that give support and love. O Spirit of love and life, may we appreciate all that we share. May we have hope in all that we wish for in our waiting. These candles represent just the merest fraction of what we lift up in our hearts. Amen. I invite you to join in singing Spirit of Life. Set me free, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our opening words this morning are by Jan Richardson. She's an artist, a writer, an ordained minister of the United Methodist Church, and she's traveled widely as a retreat leader and a conference speaker. And her writings have been a wonderful influence on my journey over many years. This reading is from Jan's book, The Cure for Sorrow. Blessings of Hope. May we know the hope that is not just for someday, but for this day, here, now, in this moment that opens to us. Hope not made of wishes, but of substance. Hope made of sinew and muscle and bone. Hope that has breath and a beating heart. Hope that will not keep quiet and be polite, but hope that knows how to holler when it is called for. Hope that knows how to sing when there seems little cause. And hope that raises us from the dead, not someday, but this day, every day, again and again and again and again. The opening hymn is O Come, Emmanuel. Wonderful song for Advent.
May every heart Come as a babe with nothing in hand. Come as a king with God to man. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come in peace with us to dwell. Oh come, Emmanuel, the good news of salvation tell. Let souls rejoice, let gladness abound. Let all creation's voices resound. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come in joy with us to dwell. Oh come, Emmanuel, cast out our fear, that siren call of hell. Oh, peace and joy are here to stay, and love increases day by day. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come in love with us of I want to thank Nancy Richards for finding that new worded version from Paul Jansen and sending it to me and to John. We gave it a try here, and just slightly different words than we may have been used to. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Kevin, and this is the Wisdom for All Ages. And we're talking today and during this month about hope, how to find hope, how to look for hope, sometimes even how to create it when you can't find it otherwise. And Catherine, do we have the slide? Does anybody know who this is? Jake, my son, just said, a dude. Thank you, Jake. Yes. Well, this is our subject for today about how to find hope, how to invent hope. The name of this man is Lewis Latimer, and he's very important to you getting up every morning, particularly before the sun has risen. But very few people know who he is or what he did. For you see, Lewis Latimer, he started off with very little in life, his family having very little. His parents were escaped slaves who headed from the south to north to Pennsylvania to try and get away to have a better life. And growing up, they often moved house to house because people were after them to try and bring them back to the south, soul catchers who were wanting to try and arrest them. To the point that even one day, when Lewis was just a young man, barely more than a boy, his father said, I think I have to leave you for a time because I fear that the people wanting to arrest me are close by and they would arrest you also. So his father left, and Lewis did the normal thing at that point. He needed to provide for his family. And so at the ripe age of 15, he lied about his age and joined the U.S. Navy as an African American to fight in the Civil War. That way he could have a small paycheck he could send home. Well, while he was in the Civil War, he discovered he had a great ability to draw, to shape, to form, and he started studying late at night how things were built, how things were made, basically slowly crafting himself into a master craftsman and a drawer, into somebody that could make amazing sketches. Soon that he joined a law firm that did patent work, and he was doing patent drawings to apply for different inventions. and he became very good at what he did and became one of the head craftspeople that doing all these drawings. But yet, he was still treated very unfairly because of the color of his skin. But he kept working and became of great renown to the point that both Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison sought him out for help on their patents. And with Alexander Graham Bell, he helped to write the patents for the first telephone. And when it was patented, from how the story goes, they won that patent a few hours ahead of the competition because it was so fierce that people were applying for patents left and right. And then he was recruited by Thomas Edison to work on a problem that Thomas had. And some of you might have known the story of how Thomas Edison supposedly tried 10,000 different things to be the filament for a light bulb. Well, Thomas Edison actually had people working for him that did those 10,000 experiments, one of them being Louis Lattimore. And he was able to find what can make a filament and make a light burn much longer and much stronger, thus making it even cheaper so that lights could be in everyone's household and not just something for the rich only. But unfortunately, the history books rarely recorded Louis Latimer as a co-inventor. But what we have to remember in this time is that hope is not something that we find, something like a shell on the beach that just we stumble upon. Sometimes hope is an invention. It's something that we create, that we make, and that we share, like an invention. And I'd like to say that this community right here is part of the invention process in our community larger through Transylvania County. Yesterday, as Reverend Bob said, we teamed up with the Rainbow Alliance with members of the NAACP to once again have a float representing all of the community, not just some of the community, to share with everybody, because we are creating hope right here in this community. And that's what we need in this holiday season. Now I'd like to call up Gus Renner. Oh, yes. What's that?
What religion was Louis Latimer?
I completely forgot. And thank you, Bob. Louis Latimer was a UU, and he helped to found a church in Queens, New York, if I remember, for UUs there. Thank you. Yeah. And one of our own UUs, Gus Renner, will come up with our children's chalice, and we'll light it and sing the kids out.
Peace be with you, and our blessing. Peace be with you, and our blessing, as you leave us now. As Christy and my kids will tell you, I never leave the opportunity to tell you when a famous UU has done something. So every time you turn on a light bulb, or at least the old-fashioned kind of light bulb, and anytime you pick up a telephone, at least the old-fashioned kind of telephone, you can think of Louis Latimer founding a Unitarian church. Yeah. Hope doesn't get anywhere unless you also team it up with love. Now, we won't get to the love candle quite yet, but we get to love all the time in what we're preaching and what we're doing as a community, and how we march, how we show up in the world, how we reach out to one another. That love is expressed in many different ways, in our words, in our grasping of hands, our greeting of one another. It happens in the ways in which we give especially in this season, catching up on our pledges or making sure we're giving money to our favorite charities during a time in which it's getting colder, making sure that the agencies in our community have funds to help people with their utility bills. I don't know if you noticed this week, but we had a person living in our parking lot needing the chance to have clean, safe bathroom and some Wi-Fi before moving on, hopefully finding a way back into employed life. We make a difference sometimes in even just being here and open with the lights on and the heat on. We make a difference in the community when we say we're supporting various charities here and worldwide. And today, the special envelope in our collection basket shows our love for people in the world. Since World War II, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee advances human rights through grassroots collaborations. And the UUSC, as it's abbreviated, offers meaningful opportunities at home and around the world for taking action together by inspiring, equipping, and sustaining spiritually grounded activism for justice, offering a continuum of educational, skill building, and experiential opportunities. You can make donations by cash or check into the envelope in our basket if you wish it to go to the UU Service Committee. And anything you place in the basket itself will be collected for the good of this congregation. I thank you for your love and generosity, that it may bring hope here and around the world. We will now gratefully accept the morning offering. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Ian. What's given in love we receive with joy, and we say, thank you. I invite you into this time of prayer and meditation. To whomever you may pray, to whatever you connect to in this world, universe, and the great energy, this is the time. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here on this day know what it is to be waiting. We may understand from our childhood as we are just now learning that once a week lighting a candle between now and Christmas means that we are pulled taut, as a Hebrew word for hope says, pulled taut as if by a string, pulled taut and directed towards with anticipation. Hope, peace, moving through each week, wondering. Spirit of love and life, may our wonder and our hope and our feeling encompass all that we have as a community for the hope of people to be seen. To be respected, to be valued. May we, in our prayers, energize ourselves to be bold in living our lives in the Spirit, in the light, in that hope of a new age to come in which all will be embraced, in which all, as the Universalists were teaching, O Spirit of life, that all will be saved from a hell either of our own creation or our own imaginations. Spirit of love and life, each breath we take is one we share with others in this world. May we breathe in, knowing the love of those around us. May we exhale, breathing out our own hope and peace. These and the prayers of our hearts and the meditations of our minds we hold now in the silence. In the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, we say, Amen. Blessed be.
Good morning.
Morning. We're going to sing a song now.
Perfect. Yes. My mother, when love is gone.
My mother, when love is gone.
In our darkest hour, hope lingers on. My father, when peace is gone.
My father, when peace is gone.
In our darkest hour, hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear. In our darkest hour, hope lingers here. My sister, when equality's gone, my sister, when equality's gone, in our darkest hour, hope lingers on. My brother, with tolerance gone, my brother, with tolerance gone, in our darkest hour, hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear, in our darkest hour, hope lingers here. My love, when honor is gone, my love, when honor is gone, in our darkest hour, hope lingers on. My country, when justice is gone, my country, when justice is gone, in our darkest hour, hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear, in our darkest hour, hope lingers here. No, I will not hate, and I will not fear, in our darkest hour, hope lingers here. In our darkest hour, hope lingers here.
Some of you may know that we have a library out in the lobby. It's been called and tended to, and some people say, oh, good. I hate to throw away books. Let me just give them to the church. And we say, no. That's the American Association of University Women who take all your leftover books and then sell them in the sale. But no, these are books out there in the lobby that might help us in our spiritual growth. Remember our mission statement I said in the beginning? We're helping each other on our spiritual path. I took this off the shelf, and I'm going to read the reading from it. And then some point when I'm done shaking hands, I'm going to put it back on the shelf. And you can find this meditation manual along with others there to do. And this one is Walking Towards Morning, Meditations by the Reverend Victoria Safford, who dedicated it to her congregation of the time in 2003, I guess, the members of the White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. And this one is going to explain why I have all sorts of colors on today. It's called In the Struggle, Singing, Shining. I once saw a little girl dressed in a fabulous outfit. She was in preschool, and her clothes were matched only by the radiance with which she wore them. A dress tie-dyed in bright orange, hot pink, and electric yellow, with socks to match. Pink suede sandals, and on her knee, as she revealed to me demurely by lifting the hem of her skirt, a Band-Aid in the brightest bright blue. We were out of purple ones, she said to me, with mild regret. The child was shining. I admired her dress and her joie de vivre, and she said, well, I wanted to wear my favorite outfit because we were having church today. And, in case I somehow failed to guess, This is my favorite outfit. And she gave her dress a little flip and smoothed her bunchy bodice, and she straightened her short legs so the sandals stuck straight out. And she ratcheted up those fiery socks and looked me in the eye, and I thanked her humbly for her example, and I wholeheartedly meant it. Later, in the afterglow of her costume and her gladness, I thought about that girl. There are children all over this world, and some adults scattered here and there, who unfailingly will punctuate their lives and their days with a sacred celebration and with rituals signifying joy, no matter what they have or don't to work with, no matter what the fury of the world outside is howling. They will savor life and breath in all their days, no matter what is dealt them. It's the only way some people know to live, with gladness and cacophonous color. There are people who pray without ceasing, awake and aware, chanting, if they're old enough, "This is the life I'd risk anything to save." Gather yourselves, say the Hopi elders. See who is in the water with you and celebrate. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. These are the things in life that are so beautiful, so lovely, so simple, extraordinary, ordinary blessings, that the only response sometimes is thankfulness. The kind of thankfulness that clamors for loud colors on a Sunday. So choose your clothing with defiance, with attitude, with joy de vivre, and with intention. Every action is sacrament. Every move a symbol. Every color is a song. And this is a day we'd risk everything to save. Thank you, Victoria Safford. I took my sermon title this morning from an Anne Lamott quote, and it was in the Soul Matters packet. It was interesting this week. Somebody came into the office and said to Tricia at the front counter, "I want the packet. I'm hearing from people this month that this is a really good packet. I want to have it." And I said, "Oh, I'll get it to you." And I emailed the packet for home study. And quotes like this are in there. Hope begins in the dark. Hope begins in the dark, the stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait, watch, and work. You don't give up. So, we take care of the poor today. We pick up litter in our neighborhoods and trails. Left foot, right foot, breathe. I like that. Anne Lamott, for those of you who don't know, is an American novelist and nonfiction writer. She's also a political activist and a public speaker and a writing teacher and lives in California. And, well, anyway, she says that she grew up in an atheistic family. And they didn't even say grace in her house when she was growing up because her parents were atheists. And she knew as a little girl that everyone at every table needed blessings and encouragement. And since her family didn't ask for it, she'd go and ingratiate herself to other families and sit in on their days and sit down for their meals and listen to their graces. Turns out she and her brothers all ended up being very religious. And she became Presbyterian. Sorry, not a UU in this case. Brothers went on in different directions, but something helped feed her. Something in her life. Now, I grew up in an atheistic, humanistic, Unitarian Universalist congregation. I know what it's like sometimes not to have the spiritual vocabulary because the folks who raised me were trying to get away from the way in which they had felt bondage to the way they had been raised in a religion. And so I got to rebel and become religious. And they all told me, well, you're still a Unitarian Universalist. As much as you want to rebel and leave us, you're still one of us. And that was nice. Our song, thank you, John and James. Our season of Advent is oriented towards hope, and every week the hope candle is lit. The very first one, and all 4 weeks, hope is showing. I told you that there's a Hebrew word in our prayer. I said that there's a Hebrew word that one translation of the word in Hebrew of hope means to be pulled taut. Actually, it's kwawa. I think I got that right. To hope strongly, to stretch out the mind in a straight direction towards an object of hope or expectation. And that kind of fits Advent. There's another word that is translated as hope, yachal. Wait, hope, patient waiting, longing, maybe so far disappointing, but still hoping and waiting. This is often associated with the kind of hope that Noah might have had, waiting for the floods to recede. Hope, as it's said, is not about the future, though. Hope is about the present. Hope is showing up with red sneakers and yellow socks and a bandana used as a pocket square that's supposed to show people in Transylvania County that we are loving neighbors of our Hispanic neighbors and immigrants. I saw a lot of these along the parade route, and they've been handed out. Dee handed them out to us as organizing for Transylvania County. We got a pink tie and a purple shirt, which is kind of like matching this. Whatever color you bring to your life, your day, is a piece of the joy and the hope that helps us get, what was your song saying, through our nation and know justice? A hope through the time of medical issues, struggles, relationship issues and struggles, loss and grief. Hope. Hope is about the present. It begins in the dark, the stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come, as Lamott said. Hope is what the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee's been trying to do for folks all over the world since World War II. Hope is what we bring to the moments in which we are noticing the dark days. I mean, I definitely am affected by dark, gray, drizzly days. Snow cheers me up, but the real gray December and the darkness coming so soon and the dawn coming so late affects me psychologically. To get up and move and do is a miraculous thing to pull off when every tree that I look at wants to just be dead for the winter. All the lazy Susans in our side garden looking like dry little stalks. All our rose bushes dried up in the cold winds that we had on the really bleak day we had a couple weeks ago. They lasted until then. They'll be back, I know it. The trees too. Hope. Hope. Jackie Frickson, sharing her inspiring author, Jan Richardson, said, So we may know that hope is not just for someday, but for this day, here, now, in this moment, that opens to us. Hope not made of wishes, but of substance. Hope made of sinew and muscle and bone. Hope that has breath and a beating heart. Hope that will not keep quiet and be polite. Yeah. Hope that raises us from the dead, not someday, but this day, every day, again and again and again. Suitable reading for the days we don't want to wake up and get out of bed and roll into the town for whatever we're doing. I believe whether we're talking about people who've gone through some of the worst that human beings can inflict on each other, such as Lewis Latimer's parents in their days being escaped slaves. Lewis Latimer was the only African American on the staff of Edison Pioneers. And it wasn't until the civil rights movement had gone for a couple of decades that the phone company and the electric companies began to show his image every February. It took a long time for people to remember. There are folks out there who have given us light and hope in the darkness, literally given us light in the darkness. Someone like him who didn't just do his inventions, but started a Unitarian Universalist congregation where there wasn't one before. Someplace where he was allowed to live. Needed a Unitarian Universalist congregation, Unitarian at the time. Merged now. Hope to be preached. Hope to be brought to a community. Hope and space and welcome. That's what we're here for. Through this season of Advent and anticipation, may we not get all confused, as I was yesterday in the parade, as kids would come forward with their bags, say, candy? We just did Halloween. This was a holiday parade. I wouldn't hand out any of those Skittles in my bag until I finally had run out of the rainbow pencils. Because I thought the rainbow pencils might lead someone to be more like Lewis Latimer and start sketching. Start finding within themselves imagination and wonder. But yeah, towards the end, everybody got Skittles. Got to order 4 times as many pencils next year. Thank you all. Thank you all. For those of you who stand out there and show some form of hope, thank you all for people who are out there getting their lavender bandanas, their lilac-colored bandanas to be out there and showing love for one another. Thank you all for the ways in which hope means something right now. You're walking towards morning, as another one of the readings from Victoria Safford say, and I'll end this sermon with her reading. You know, we do it every day. Every morning we go out blinking into the glare of our freedom, into the wilderness of work in the world, making maps as we go, looking for signs that we're on the right path. Hence, on some good days, we walk right out of our oppressions, those things that press us down from the outside, or as often from the inside. We shake off the shackles of fear and prejudice and timidity and closed-mindedness and selfishness, self-righteousness, and claim our freedom outright, terrifying as it is, our freedom to be human and humane. Every morning, every day, we leave our houses, not knowing if it will be for the last time, and we decide what we'll take with us, what we'll carry, how much integrity, how much truth-telling, how much compassion in case somebody along the way may need some, how much arrogance, how much anger, how much humor, how much willingness to change and be changed, to grow and to be grown, how much faith and hope, how much love and gratitude. You pack these things with your lunch and medications, your date book, your papers. Every day we gather what we think we need and we pick up what we love and all that we so far believe, put on our history, shoulder our experience of memory, and take inventory of our blessings, and we start walking towards morning. Blessings on all of you. In that spirit, as we're not doing it together, we're not doing it alone, we're doing it together. I invite you to rise and sing together as you're willing and able. Our hymn number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. May you go out into this day with whatever you confront and knowing that hope isn't about the future, it's about now. May you, if you need to, notice the colors around you, on the people around you who are finding joy and exhibiting it to you, or maybe you yourselves, putting on some color and a cacophonous amount of color that you might give others something of hope in the darkness. Blessings on all of you as you go out in love and return again with joy to this place.